Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the grand finals for the World Championships in Hawaii. We're going to have Inadequance up against YEKAI. We're going to see already Inadequance teams on the screen. We're going to have the Giratina, which is a signature pick here, which is very difficult to maneuver in the current meta as there are quite a lot of normal types like the LilyKatchum on YEKAI's team. YEKAI has a huge advantage for this finals because he is on the winner's side of the bracket. What this means is he just has to win one best of 5 against Inadequance, while Inadequance has to win 2 best of 5s. Before looking at the teams, Inadequance might have a little bit of a team advantage, so it's going to be a very interesting finals here for sure, and we can start right into the battles. Starting out the grand finals now, we're going to have a matchup of Giratina against Shadow Quagsire. This is going to be a very neutral matchup, but generally speaking, I guess Giratina has a fairly decent matchup here, being able to do some neutral damage while Awkward Heal is going to be resisted. It's going to be kind of nice, but of course Stone is going to be neutral as well. We see a little bit of like clunkiness in the gameplay, which is of course ideal at the biggest stage possible, but I think everything is still kind of going like it should. We're going to have the Stone Age. I think it still survives it just barely, and Inadequance knows of course everything about Giratina, knowing that they still survive it and they're gonna let the move go through. Taking the shield advantage to the secondary matchup seems like a solid play, but actually it's going to look like a very difficult matchup now for Inadequance. He decides to swap out into the Poliwrath now to counter down the Shadow Quagsire, which is going to be a decent play. Awkward Heal coming through here. Everything is going to be resisted from the Quagsire onto the Poliwrath, so no reason to shield, at least I thought, but they still decide to use a shield here. We can see the full farm down as a Stone Age is coming through. It's going to do a lot of damage still, even though it is resisted. It's going to be very difficult for Inadequance to win the first battle. I think it's going to be a lot, because at the end of the day, we're going to see here already the Thackery still in their back are lurking for that Wigglytuff, which of course neither YEKAI or Inadequance knows at this current point, but we know that this game is quite a difficult one to still win, as now the Wigglytuff is going to swap in and getting greeted by that Thackery, and that is going to be a first good game. They're just gonna play it out now. I don't think Inadequance is even going to try here anymore. I think they're just gonna let anything go through. Actually still going to be nicely when coming through, but at this point, like, both players know that this game is over. There's nothing, either of the, like, of course YEKAI is going to be able to easily win this one now, as the alignment was just a little bit too difficult for Inadequance for the first battle, giving YEKAI a little bit of an advantage now. And we can basically, after that Thackery is going to be able to knock out that Poliwrath, which I guess, yeah, Inadequance just gonna let go through. We can just move on into the second battle. Next battle is starting, and horrible lead for Inadequance. This is literally the worst possible lead he could imagine, but it's still not over. We're going to see the matchup of LilyKatchum against the Lantern. This is actually winnable for Lantern in the one shield scenario with a water gun if they're going to be able to connect this Thunderbolt here as well. YEKAI might want to use a shield to ensure that they're going to have the switch advantage here, which they won't, and so there's going to be a little bit of a trickier matchup now, because I guess if Inadequance is going to be able to maybe get some reads correct and just gets a lot of water gun pressure in, this might be a way of still winning this battle, but let's find out. They're going to let the move go through. Great prediction here from Inadequance. Is going to be huge to try to align themselves here later on. Let's see if they're going to use a shield now. Hopefully use a shield. This would be very important to use a shield here against this. Yet great from Inadequance. Power Whip is going to get shielded, and with this, Lantern has potential to flip this matchup, which is going to be crucial for later on, because he cannot allow that Thackery to go up against that Wigglytuff. We will see the surf coming through now against the against the LilyKatchum. They're actually gonna let the move go through, as Lantern can fully farm down here, which is crucial, as we will see now also. That alignment is going to be on Inadequance side, and we're also gonna see 2 surfs very likely coming through against the Charger Bug. Maybe Charger Bug is going to try to go for a charge move here as well. This would be not surprising, as they mostly don't want to take another surf. They're actually gonna swap out here. That is interesting. I don't really understand the decision here. They try to go for the full farmer. Actually, never mind. It actually does make quite a lot of sense at this point, because what they're going to be able to do here is they're going to be able to get a ton of energy, and this energy is going to be, of course, kind of nice against that Poliwrath, and that was actually a very smart play from YEKAI, trying to get as much energy as possible beforehand, knowing that they can go for the full farmer, expecting that Poliwrath in the back. Very clever from YEKAI for sure. Sky Attack coming through, gonna get shielded. And as it's only a Sky Attack and not a Brave Bird, the next one must be the Brave Bird from YEKAI, knocking out then that Poliwrath in the future. But here we're still in the current state. We're gonna see the Icy Wind coming through, and now Brave Bird is loaded, but of course they can overfarm as well, knowing how much energy Inadequance has here. This Brave Bird is going to do a ton of damage, should be enough to knock them out. I'm not too sure with the debuff, of course without it's the guaranteed knockout, it is just barely a knockout here as well. Now it comes down to that Lantern being able to still reach a surf onto that Charger Bug, and that is going to be very devastating for Inadequance, because now Wigglytuff is going to have to go up against the opponent's Skarmory, and I think at this point Inadequance is just hoping to get, I guess, up to an Icy Wind here with the Wigglytuff. That's why they let the move go through and then go for any kind of own fast moves. There is some lag here on the side of JEKAI, which might actually result on a replay if Inadequance would be able to win this battle. I doubt that he will be able to win this battle here at this point still. No way. There's still the Brave Bird coming through, and that's going to decide the battle 2-0 to JEKAI. Very tough matchup so far for Inadequance. He has to now win 3 battles in a row in order to still reset the bracket, and that's very difficult, but not impossible. Now we're gonna start into the third game. Here we're going to have a fantastic lead for Inadequance, and we see the immediate swap out here as well from JEKAI, which is going to be very, very good for Inadequance as well, because now the Wigglytuff is not gonna get aligned against the only hard answer to it, which is that Skarmory, and so we will see the Scald coming through here. We are not gonna see a shield coming up, and we might even see, actually I think Inadequance just wants to play this one out here. I feel like this might be the best play for him. Maybe he wants to even swap into the Clodsai there, but decides to rather use a shield on the Sky Attack that's coming through here right now. It's actually the Brave Bird, never mind. I thought it was a Sky Attack, it was the Brave Bird instead. And so now Inadequance is going to be able to see also the final Pokemon of JEKAI, because there's no way that they're gonna decide to go back into that Quagsire. It's going to be, of course, the Charger Bug coming in now, and so the immediate swap into the Clodsai is going to be an interesting play, because I don't even know if this is like the play that I would have went for. At the end of the day, like, I think it's going to be fine for Inadequance, but of course I kind of want to take the most amount of advantage there from JEKAI still being locked into this matchup, but of course now they have to deal with that Quagsire. But look at the Stone Edge damage. This looks really, really good for Inadequance. Maybe he's gonna be able to get the biggest comeback of the century. It would be so cool to see, like, even a bracket reset still at this point. But let's see here. We're gonna see the Earthquake coming through. I'm gonna get a shield against that Shadow Quagsire. And in comes now, very likely, an Awkward here soon. Perfect timing, of course, from JEKAI before Quagsire, or like Clodsire, would be able to get to a move. We see the double Awkward here coming through here now to knock out that Clodsire. They have to go straight for one. Perfect timing actually on the CMP tie on that Earthquake. Very great timing from JEKAI, making it definitely a little bit more awkward now for Inadequance, but already, like, Charger Bug is already very, very low. Now we're gonna see the Poliwrath coming back in. We already have the Icy Wind stored for that Quagsire. They maybe want to keep the Quagsire around, let's find out, especially as they know already that the Charger Bug is very low, but now they decided to let the move go through, and this is looking very, very good for Inadequance at this one, because we have the Wigglytuff in the back. You know, Wigglytuff having Charm is just so, so good in so many matchups right now. Inadequance can just, go for a charge move here, expect the swap now from the opponent. We will very likely, overpredict, but it does not really matter anyway, because at this point, Wigglytuff can just take 2 hits from that Charger Bug. 2 discharges are coming through, but Charm should be enough to knock them out, and then it's just basically down to that Poliwrath against the Quagsire. That should be looking very good here for Inadequance, but again, it can still, anything can happen here. We see the discharge coming through, getting down that Wigglytuff, and a full farm down is coming up here next. You're gonna see the Awkward Tail coming through very likely from the Quagsire, but actually Quagsire has a ton of energy. But yeah, at this point JEKAI just decides to give up on this battle, knowing that there's no way of winning. Fourth battle coming up now. We're going to have a horrible lead for Inadequance. They have the Dragon type against each other here, which is going to be not ideal, as Inadequance having only the Ghost type coverage, not the Dragon type coverage, is going to be a little bit awkward. But we see the Stone Edge coming through here from the Clodsire. Interesting play from JEKAI to stay in here in a matchup where Stone Edge is going to do a ton of damage. This is going to do half of the opponent's health there. That's going to be crazy. But let's see, they are just going to store up more and more energy, going now for a Sky Attack. They kind of don't want to get the Clodsire against the Pokemon in the back, which I feel is kind of interesting, because I guess maybe they expect the Wigglytuff in the back again. That's why they kind of don't want to bring in the Skarmory. But Inadequance is actually totally happy about not seeing the Skarmory in here and just taking the shield advantage. This is looking very solid though for Inadequance, because now he can just rely on that Skarmory, which would be able to soak up all the energy. Of course, perfect time from JEKAI. Like, of course, it's the World Championships finals. You would expect stuff like this. SkyTech gonna get shielded here because Inadequance wants to get another shield from JEKAI, trying to get them shields down or get alignment. Alignment would be also very important, especially with that LilyKatchum in the back lurking for the Giratina. In comes now the Skarmory, kinda as expected, and I would imagine that that is going to be a bit of a tough one, because if you kind of look a little bit forward here right now, they're gonna let the move go through. Inadequance very likely gonna decide to go into his own Skarmory with that though, and can take all of the hits. But the issue is now, if there's a LilyKatchum on the back, which we of course know there is, the Giratina is gonna have no place. So Giratina has to come in here, otherwise it's going to be very, very difficult for Inadequance to still come back from it. But of course it's the logical decision to go into the Skarmory here, which is going to make this basically impossible to win. Giratina has no play against the LilyKatchum, and that is going to be super, super unfortunate now. SkyTech is coming through. The only play that I could see for Inadequance to do here is to try to catch a move onto Giratina, but he's not even going to try to do that, because yeah, like, it is a very, very silly decision. Like, at the end of the day, he doesn't know that there's a LilyKatchum in the back. Anything else other than LilyKatchum would be totally fine for the Giratina. We already saw one Giratina answer with that Altaria, so like, the thought process here is definitely very clear for Inadequance. We know what he kind of thinks, but it is definitely kind of unfortunate here, as now it is going to be the LilyKatchum in the back, and we're gonna see a shield coming up, and JEKAI is just going to be able to most likely clean up this game with LilyKatchum. Basically, final season of LilyKatchum. If you saw my recent videos, Licky is going to be the new LilyKatchum, which is kind of hilarious, but this is going to be game. JEKAI is going to be the 3rd world champion for Pokemon Go. Giratina is not even trying anymore. He can celebrate, and that is going to be it for the grand final. Congrats to JEKAI. You're just gonna see here some power-ups coming through Inadequance now. Of course, he has no way of winning this battle. Like, of course, Inadequance's thought process here made a lot of sense. At the end of the day, it did not work out, but still, congrats to both of them. Like, getting up into the grand final with so many players with like such a journey behind them. Crazy to yeah, achieve such a thing, and at least like I think both of them gonna get like a cup as well, so that is really, really cool. And this is going to be it for this video as well. Congrats to JEKAI for winning World Championships here. Shouts also to the stream crew behind the stream there in general, because like the graphics were so on point, so much better than like the graphics through the regionals as well. It was a ton of fun to watch the entire yeah, World Championships there. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.